people or whatever it is. Get what you get. It's cool. Yeah. What's today? It's Wednesday, right? Wednesday, bro.
It's 2-ish.
All day.
We're here.
Busy. We are out here. We are hustling to make everything go. Beating the streets. What's the upcoming news that we got?
Upcoming news?
Is there anything new news?
Other than continuing the quest towards the PGF qualifiers.
Oh, okay. So PGF for you, that's Atlanta Saturday.
Atlanta Saturday.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling good. I'm going into this pretty. I mean, I made the commitment that I was going to go to all of them. I'd made the commitment that I'm going to go to all of them until I get into one or I learned something, and I've learned some stuff.
Yeah.
Then you got your boy Seth is competing Sunday.
Oh yeah, Seth's going up to Fort Payne.
Yeah, he's doing that.
He's one of our white belts, the one that jumped in the Mid-South, trying to boost the bracket up in there. Seth, who went against Chase Hannon in the first round. Sending him up to I think it's a white belt absolute, like EBI style tournament.
EBI style is what
they're giving away money for him. He's game. It's my anniversary weekend with Mandy. So
open belts?
No, I think it's white belts only.
I think it's white and blue.
Is it blue also?
I think there's some blue belts.
All right. Well, white and blues,
Sick.
So whatever. It's a good opportunity to go out there and see where he's at versus people his, rank-ish, skill level-ish. And then we'll get some good feedback on that one way or the other. Dude's one of the hardest workers for sure in the room all the time. Great attitude.
Can see his improvement just the 2 weeks I've been here.
Yeah, he's constantly looking for the improvement. He wants to learn. He wants to do better. You just got to give him the right cues, and I think he's going to be really good. Just keep him healthy so he doesn't work himself too hard.
Sure.
One of those kind of guys, the one that you got to ask to slow down. It's like
no. I identify as that. I know one of those. Just keep doing too much. Sit
down, chill out, take a day off. It's okay. Do the stuff that you're supposed to do. Don't do the stuff that's crazy. That's the hard part. Everybody wants to just come in and roll and stuff, but when you're really beat up, that's when you can't just come in and roll. That's when you have to be able to sit and drill slowly or patiently and not put a lot of wear and tear, or just come sit and study and take notes or whatever and observe class and stuff. Because you get a lot from. If you do that genuinely, you come in and you genuinely watch and you watch other people while they're drilling, you can look at different partner groups and see how they do it. And a lot of times for myself, at least when I'm sitting on the side and not thinking about going out there to drill immediately, I can pick up a lot more details, because sometimes I'll find myself thinking about a certain part of the transition or the finish or whatever. And then I'll miss 2 or 3 steps because I was really thinking about myself hitting that one part of the thing. But if I'm not thinking it, if I'm not immediately going to have to go out here and perform, then I stay in there and I'm really hitting on the key points, mentally, instead of trying to visualize me doing the movements. Right. So I think there's merit in being able to just slow down and chill and be in your own head, but so that's that. And then there's Jacksonville's the next weekend.
Jacksonville's 2 weekends.
That's September 11th. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
and September 11th, you're in Wetumpka.
Is that how you say that?
Wetumpka, Wetumpka, Alabama.
That's how I say it, and that's how I don't know how everybody else says it. At
Wetumpka.
Max Martial Arts, I think is what it's called. I think that's the official name of it. But Riley McCormick, cool guy over there. He came over, trained with us at the Boogie Seminar and stuff.
Before that, you're in Nevada, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did forget about the Nevada one.
August 21st, next Saturday, flying out, going to hit up Elko. I didn't get to go because we booked it on the holiday last time and screwed it up. So we pushed it back to now, next Saturday. So I'm going to fly out Friday, go spend the weekend up there, come back.
That's too bad because I just miss you. I'm there on a Monday
and
Thursday.
But you're in Vegas, and that's
I still would have.
You might as well be.
I still would have come out
1,000 years away at that point.
$60 return, I think, from Vegas to Reno.
Oh, well, Reno's still 4 hours in the car.
Oh, I thought it was right next to Reno.
No,
okay.
I think that's a common mistake that everybody thinks Reno's just right there.
No, Reno's on the west.
Okay.
Elko's more east central.
Gotcha. So you might as well be coming from Vegas.
It's in the middle of nowhere, bro.
Right.
Like, I'm either, if you don't fly into Elko, it's about a 3-hour ride, 4-hour ride from Salt Lake City.
Riley McCormick is saying hi, by the way.
Hey, what's up, Riley? What's the name? We Tump Cut. What's the official name of your school? I know it's Max, but I don't know what the other words are.
I don't
know. Yeah, like, is it mixed? No. What is it? Max Martial Arts? Is it Max Jiu Jitsu and Fitness? Is it Max? I don't know. Self defense, head busting school.
I didn't know they were there. I mean, I live like 15,
last year.
20 minutes.
I think it's in the last year for sure.
That's cool.
He's opened up over there. Yeah.
McCormick's Academy of Combat Sports.
There you go.
September 11th.
See, and that's a different thing than I was saying. McCormick's Academy of Combat Sports. There we go. September 11th. That's where I'm going to be. So that's going to be fun, man. I love going out and sharing jiu-jitsu and the things that people want to learn from me. Man, I love teaching them that. Mm-hmm. And so genuinely, I'm excited. And like they want to go over some of the head and arm stuff that we do. So I'm really going to put together some fire curriculum for that, specifically, because a lot of times I don't teach a whole class on just the head and arm. There's you can mix it into a bunch of different things, but if we're going to do a deep dive on head and arms, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of head and armish things that can go on. Is that what
you're teaching on the road these days?
Well, that's what they wanted for.
I kind of
try to take requests. Yeah.
Okay.
It sometimes if they tell me just to do what I want, I'll do what I want. But a lot of times it's like, is there something specific that you want to work on? And if I have if I have something that they would be interested in, then yeah, that's what I say. I think that's cool. Is like they ask what they want and I try to deliver, so I have.
Does that make it harder on you if you haven't actually done a full class on it? Does that make it harder?
No, because I have stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it just gives me a new way to like organize my thoughts. Like, because if I do it, like I have a bunch of head and arm stuff. That's saying it's just going to be like super focused and it's only going to be a couple of hours. So it's not going to be like I'm going to be able to come back tomorrow and see him again or next week and brush it up again. So I want to try to figure out the 80-20 on the head and arm for everybody. What is it that's going to get everybody the most effective use of that 2 hours block to get the most understanding for head and arm positioning. And then like I'll do rubber guard at some, but his coach has done a lot of seminars and training with Boogie and stuff, and they've done rubber guard a few times. So they've already had we've had rubber guard seminars before. So the next guy that comes in, I don't want another rubber guard seminar, even if the guy's good at it, probably will get you to do, like Sloan's going to do front headlock stuff. Sweet. Because that's his best stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. I want you to come, I asked for that until he was just like, oh yeah, great, awesome, perfect, because he loves that. But that's what I want though. I want you to come in with that good energy. Because if I ask you to teach something, it's like asking the band maybe sometimes to play the song that they don't like anymore. Yeah. Play some Skinner. It's like, that's good, man. But damn, like, can we get another vibe sometimes?
I have a whole catalog.
So that's the thing. It's like, it's not, I enjoy sharing these gifts to people. It's not like it's not something that they've already had a bunch of different times or everybody's kind of had a bunch. So my take on it is different than everybody else's take on it. Some people are going to have very similar thoughts that I do. They may even be word for word in some ways, but they won't be there to do it that day. So it's not the same. You know what I mean? Everybody, there's equal coaches that just won't be in the room though. So that'll be the best that they'll get, and it's going to be high level though. Cause if you want to look back, he's asking for it because I hit it on a lot of people in succession just by cause it was just the thing that was there.
Your white belts and blue belts definitely have a nice arm triangle game.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But that's the thing, right? The coaches, you take on the flavor of your coaches or whatever, and there's things that I'm not very good at that we're not very good at as a squad that other schools are really good at. But then they're not as good at this as we are, right? And that's why that's why I want to have different looks coming in regularly as far as coaches or another coach that's on staff eventually that has a different game than I do. You just got to make sure that everybody's like working towards those same goals. I don't care if we do it differently. We just got to be working towards the same like in game on stuff. I like learning new ideas. I may change my mind. You may say something that makes me change the way I do it too. I think it's cool. Yeah. So I don't know I forget what I'm doing in Elko at theirs. I'm going to teach kids when there too. It's
that'll be cool.
It's a unique thing. I've done it there a couple different times. The kids there, they're excited to learn. We do, keep it pretty simple, play pretty, it's like an hour long, just chill, but they want it. So again, I'll come and do it. I don't consider myself the greatest kids coach in the world, but I do have some skills. And if they're the right kids that want to listen and learn, then they're going to get some really good stuff too. That's what I was saying. And it's just different because with the kids, you got to break it down in a very simple terms, but you got to keep it
right,
like moving along. But sometimes with the adults, you gotta sit with it, and you can't move on too fast because then they'll never get the end of it. But you can't just stay with the one little tiny detail too much because then you're gonna lose your. It's just funny.
I get stuck.
Yeah, so you gotta let the adults go out there and play with it for sure. The kids, I haven't quite figured out how that works as a whole big room. It's a different monster getting like 20 kids out there trying to drill.
What's the biggest obstacle you see in that?
Attention.
Yeah.
Safety. I get anxious as hell when I think that it's dangerous and somebody could get hurt. And I get natural consequences and stuff like that, but I don't want the kids to get hurt in jiu-jitsu and have like a bad taste for jiu-jitsu or whatever, or and then the parents, or I just don't want them to really get broken. But sometimes you got to be tough on them. It's just part of the game. But the attention is the hardest part. Trying to direct the flow of the energy the right way without getting too caught up in the of the frustrational side of kids being kids, because a lot of times they're coming straight from school. Now that school's back in, they've already been told to sit down and be quiet for most of the day, and so now here we are again trying to get them to sit down and be quiet. So I'm trying to figure out how to get the flow of the room going better.
And a follow-up question, kind of in the same line: what's the most common mistake you see your adult students making?
Not sticking with the process enough. Just you just kind of go for a bunch of different things and not really like finding something and really like getting good at that thing. I think kind of like I've seen that before, movement, and a lot of people fall into that trap. They'll see something and they'll think they understand it, and you really don't. Even if you hit it on your white belt partner or whatever, that still doesn't mean that you understand what you're doing.
Sure.
So I see people fall into that information trap where they think they've got it, but you never got it. There's always more. So I think the one thing is some people, and maybe that's because that we're always taught, a lot of people are taught in the absolutes. And so people feel like this is the way, like a definite, like this is how you do it. And that's how a lot of coaches will teach it.
Sure.
They'll tell you this is the way you do this. And if you defer from the way they say you do it, then you're doing it wrong. Well, that's not true. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, everybody should know that, but not everybody can express that to their students when they're teaching and things like that. So some students get into that mindset of, or I think humans in general get into the groove of this is how it's done. And so this is how I'm going to do it. This is how it's always been done. So this is, this is how we do, man. This is how I do it, baby. And it's like, well, you could do it this other way. And it's like, yeah. And dude, this is the thing. I'll say it. I'll put it in a real life example to put this on me about stuff. We were talking about waivers with somebody at the school, and my plan, paper and pen. That's gonna have like filing cabinets full of freaking paper waivers and all this crap. That's what I was doing. Mandy came in within 2 weeks. She had it organized to where everybody can do their waiver on the iPad, or we can send them a link and they can do the waivers and all that kind of stuff. But I was never gonna do that myself because I was super comfortable with just doing the paper thing because I understood it and it was easy for me. It made me comfortable.
Comfort, yeah.
That was my lane. Mm-hmm. And so when she talked about it, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. And then she did it, and now it's just made my life so much easier because now I can just hand people an iPad and walk away. I don't have to find a paper waiver. I'm like, oh, we didn't print out waivers. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, now they send us a message. Oh, here, we'll send you a link with a waiver.
Wait till you have to go look for a waiver.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So now it's just done.
It's gonna be a lot easier when they're calling and you need one.
So
like that. Yeah, for sure.
Back to the question, like, don't necessarily wait around for everybody to bring you new information. That'd be one.
Right? For sure. I mean, you got to do it for yourself. That's the thing. You got to take the information that the coach gives you and really like go through them, fleshing it out and seeing what's working and what's not working and what parts. Like we're just rolling. What are you doing when you're rolling? I'm just trying to tap them out. How? Yeah. What's your process? Come up with a process. Think of your own process now. Yeah. Don't wait to be a purple belt and then know what you're doing.
Yeah. And, I always find that statement some coaches make is kind of like a 50-50 thing for me, where they tell you, oh, you don't want to be thinking when you're in a match with somebody, because if you're thinking about something, you're half a step behind or whatever. And me personally, I don't have that issue. And I feel like my mind is always working to like analyze my options and,
it's happening fast. And I think that's because I say that too.
But I do assess, like like when I get to a position where I feel like I have time specifically to assess these things, I will take that time.
Yeah,
I will say things to myself like this hand is here, this hand is weak, this leg is ready to.
But in the moment when you're moving, you don't have that luxury a lot of times.
No,
you can't. So that's what I mean. Sure. So if we're sitting still. Yeah, that's why I tell people don't let them sit there and set up shop on you on top and start. And I agree with that.
But there's also the flip side of where I do actually, if I we're coaching a student, I would actually want you to think. I wouldn't want you to just keep moving with no intention in mind.
Oh well, yeah, you always have intent. That's what I'm saying. But
but that intention, I think, comes from being mindful of exactly where you're at and what you need to do in a certain situation.
Yeah, but I guess I think what I'm saying is that maybe, okay, so we're going to get in the weeds here a little bit, but that's okay. It's cool.
That's the point.
Yeah. Maybe I'm saying, instead of saying like, I'm not saying think of moves. I'm telling you to think of the broader what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm putting my weight into this knee. Right. And then when he kicks his leg straight, that's when I'm going to do whatever.
Sure, yeah.
But then if he doesn't do that, then what happens?
Yeah.
So if you can't do the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
You gotta
like I even have a checklist in my head of like posture, power, strength, like where your weak side is, like things like that. I have like a checklist. And when I get to that position where I can't start to think about it and assess you in a certain way, I run through that checklist.
Well, that's it.
I don't have time to do that.
You can't do it
when I'm in the middle of
scramble.
When there's some transitional element there, when we're in the fight, like there's no time to do that. So I'm kind of in this like 50-50 thing,
I hear you. You do need to be mindful. Like, and I guess that's what I say. I'm not saying just go out there and like turn your brain off.
Sure.
Like, but you got to go with your intuition is your brain.
For sure.
Like that's your mind.
The time in the gym.
Your mind
that's
that quick pow.
In the way of nothing, like kind of the Book of Five Rings, like
it's
the
like
whole
flow
point
state
is nothing. The whole you can't sit, you can't think about sitting to sit, because then you're not sitting because you're trying to think about the thing. And that's the reference I've heard. Alan Watts, I was listening to one time that he was doing a speech and he was talking about that. So this was back in the late 60s, 70s. He was talking about jujitsu as that way. So like cool. I think that's what you're trying to hit on, and like I've tried to describe that to a couple guys recently too. Is like you're thinking too much. You're not doing the thing because I'm guilty of this. Like you'll get to this point and you're like, ooh, there's all these moves I know, but now you're thinking, and so it doesn't.
Now you don't know any moves.
Now you're not doing the.
Now
thing.
all you know is moves. You're not. So this thing we were talking about this morning, like you can conceptualize stuff, but then can you actualize it?
right
in your training, right? You can understand what you're doing. And I guess this is what I'm saying. Like you could have seen it and you can have it in your brain one way, but then when you go out there to do it, can you actualize that plan exactly the way that it's drawn up? Rarely, I think that you can hit parts of it, right, as things go. And the more of those parts you know, then you'll see how it all comes together as one thing, right? Just how every like attacking the upper body goes into attacking the lower body, you know, and all those different kind of things. But if you haven't seen the stuff before, then it's hard to just make it up, right? So you know you have to sit there and like workshop a lot. I think if you don't have a coach to sit there and tell you stuff, and so some people don't do well with a coach telling them stuff. They want to sit there and play with it. They want to get an idea and they want to sit there and just tinker, you know, and that's the way some people do.
I like suggestions.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would rather that if they thought they had an opportunity to choose. They would rather have a suggested path than a definite path.
Sure.
Because again, you don't want to be a copycat. Right. I mean, you want to use the best of what you can learn from everything, but you don't want to like just sound like me and not be able to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we can sit down here and talk like it and you can say my words, but can you do the movements on a person that's resisting this way? Have you felt the things that it requires to get this level of control even yet? Right. Because we're just doing, we drilled the move 40 times in class and you understand it. But that's all with a less than resisting opponent. So then as we start doing live drills, can you control that position from there when he's trying to go 100%? When the game's now escape and start over, escapes, you know, like he's going 100% from here. Can you get the finish? Can you keep control of someone? Various sizes, strengths, you know, abilities and stuff like that. That's the thing. Pick something, go for it in class, stay with it, like obsess over it, like obsess over something. Learn what your coach is teaching you, but in your time, obsess over something for yourself. Figure out something you like and do that. And then you'll get bored with it, but you have it now and you'll always have it. And so when it's like riding a bike in a way, once you do it again, you're like, oh, okay, this is that arm bar that I used to like when I was a blue belt, you know, or, you know, oh man, this is that, oh man. Okay. I remember somebody taught me this when I was a white belt. I just didn't think it made any sense yet.
Right.
But as soon as you think about it, it might be gone.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to stay in the moment. Cause like how many times do you go, oh, that's the thing. And then it goes flying by.
And so that's what we just said though, right?
Yeah.
What's the right answer to that? You know, and it's hard to be in that moment all the time, but you got to do it so much that it's mindless. It's like, I use the reference of the car a lot, driving, like you're going down the highway or whatever, 65, 70 miles per hour. You look up and now you're 30 miles down the road or something. You know, how long did that take you to get 10 miles down the road, 5 miles down the road? How far was that? How fast did you do that? Sometimes you're just not even thinking about what you're doing. You're now 5 miles through space in the matter of a couple of minutes now that you've not been like super conscious of what you're doing. You're doing it, right? And if anything breaks that flow state that you're in, sort of, you can kind of correct if you've got the experience. Like, for example, growing up on dirt roads a lot, I learned how to like spin out safely for funsies. But now I've done it a couple times on freeways when I hit water and spin. I know how to safely spin and not flip cars over or veer out of control as much. You know, knock on wood that it holds up, you know, forever that way. But like understanding what to do in that moment instead of like locking up everything or whatever. You know what I mean? It's the same thing here. It's like you see this move and you just you go for it and it's over. And then what now? Right. So you got to figure out if this is a submission you like, how do you get there? So new person, that's it. What do you like? How do you get there? Okay. You don't know how to get there. Let's figure out how to get there. Okay. Figure out a couple ways to get there. Right. And then now you need to figure out a couple ways people are escaping and then start homing in on that.
You know, that's kind of what I would touch on if I was asked that question, is that new students, I think, kind of lack that ability to know that they have that personal responsibility for their own journey as well. Like, I mean by that, what I mean by that is, like, you can't just show up for an hour's worth of class and then expect your trajectory to be the same as the guy that goes to 3 classes, goes home and stretches for 3 hours, watches jiu-jitsu videos for 3 hours, doesn't have cable, you know, just completely, like, I mean, I'm talking about myself a bit, and I feel like maybe that's why I've progressed a little bit quicker than some guys, is just because I canceled my cable 6 years ago. All I do is watch jiu-jitsu. In fact, 2 years ago, I said to myself, I have no wrestling. Like, I have no understanding of wrestling as it relates to my jiu-jitsu game. So I don't even watch jiu-jitsu videos anymore. I watch just strictly wrestling videos. And I think that, you know, knowing that I have that personal responsibility to make my game better, you know, has kind of trajected me into a path that maybe has given me a bit more speed in my
I agree with you.
Arc.
And I think that's one of the things I've touched on probably in some other stuff. It's always been interesting to be like, you're a member of a certain team, and so everybody assumes these certain like attributes or skill sets about you. But what if you didn't put in the work on those certain skill sets that everybody else, like Richie's Darce game or whatever, is like, I can Darce, I'm good at it, but you wouldn't tout me as someone that's like an outstanding Darce guy in the field, you know. But most people from Temple and San Diego are, you know what I mean? But I didn't put in the work on that specifically myself. Like, I understand it. It's not my favorite move from there. It doesn't. It just doesn't do as well for me.
But if you want to get better at it,
I just have
90% of you getting better is you
just
taking it upon, but taking it upon yourself. You know, like your coach can only take you so far. He can only show you so many things. He can only ask you to practice it so many times.
You have to do it.
You're the one that has to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to keep. You just got to, and that's why people just keep showing up, because they don't want to keep having the same long conversation.
It's not even about the showing up part. Like, be a good student. You know, take your homework home with you.
That's what they say, though.
You know,
like, I mean? That's instead of doing all this every day. That's what it means by keep showing up. Like, literally, don't just be a body. Like, literally show up mentally, show up physically, show up and be a good teammate. Show up when it's not your turn to do offense. Show up when it's your turn to be defensive too, because you can learn both sides.
And like, don't accept your weaknesses either. You know, if you've
work on it,
if you've understood what something is, try to work to fix it. Don't accept it for what it. I think, like, in this situation, you know, a lot of times I'll hear older guys in the gym, you don't just talk about how, you know, I can't lose this weight, or I'm not flexible enough and I can't get that back. And, you know, I always think to myself, you know, with an hour of, you know, preparation in your diet, you could fix your diet. With an hour of stretching in the morning, you could make yourself more flexible. Like, what is it that you're
what are you prioritizing?
Accepting? What are you accepting? You know? Yeah. And what are you prioritizing as well?
You're right. What do you accept that is true about yourself that may, you know, just be something that's not for sure? It's not definite.
And I think, like, new students, new guys that come in, they kind of fall into that too easily. This is me, and I will always be this person.
No, yeah, for sure. That is definitely not the case. And that's what jiu-jitsu is for as much as anything else. Everybody wants to be and compare at like competition level, but we're, you know, on a human level, on a base level, it's not about that competition speed stuff, right? It's not about going in and like ripping people's heads off every day and stuff like that. I mean, if you want to just be a competitor, then maybe so. Maybe it is about going in and going hard every day and whatever, testing your metal every day and you know, that stuff. But for the majority of people, they're not going to be a great competitor. The majority of the people that show up at your gym, they're not even going to really want to compete more than a couple of times if they do, right? So then if all you have is that competition style theme in training, then you're not going to be like being the most effective with your time either, right? Because the people that you're not going to be really serving your audience or serving your clients or customers or students, whatever you want to kind of say. And so that's one of the things that's been interesting to me too, is noticing, I think the things that I do differently than a lot of people. I don't have that really strong style built in as the base of everybody's jiu-jitsu. The base is trying to figure out the angles, trying to figure out the leverage, trying to figure out like how to move yourself and, you know, how to let them move you instead of all this, like just keep pounding away at something until it works. Right. Like in a sense, this is that, but instead of just trying to swing this big hammer, you know, we get out a smaller one and kind of chip away at it and take your time. It's a long journey.
Yep.
Swinging that bigger hammer is just going to wear you out faster. It's not going to, like, if you break the rock, you're still not going to understand those small pieces yet. You know what I mean? You're still going to have to get out there and do some more work. Yep. And if all you do is smash everything up, you're never going to really understand what you're doing. And for me, I would rather leave behind a bunch of good coaches, I think, a bunch of good, like, people, mentors. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I want the competitors, right? I would love to have a group of good competitors. And I think everybody kind of does. Once you start being a coach, you want to coach winners. You know what I mean? And so winning is relative to what you are competing at. And so if all we're looking at is medals from jiu-jitsu tournaments or trying to get to UFC or whatever, you know, when you fall short of some of that stuff sometimes, then what? What do you have now? Is jiu-jitsu still worth it to you if you didn't get to go to the ADCC? If you don't ever win one of those big matches, is jiu-jitsu ever still worth it for you then? You know, when you really, like, when you have that actualization, maybe, like, for me, I'm not going to ever win ADCC. I don't think. I'm pretty sure. Like, it would take some kind of really wild circumstance for that to happen. Pretty sure. But what would I have if I didn't really love the process? What would I have if I didn't really enjoy, like, teaching and being around people and the community and stuff like that? And so there's an element of going hard that you need, right? You gotta spar, right? Which is going hard. But that can't be the fundamental style, I think. And so I think I want to make sure I focus more on well-being, using jiu-jitsu as a vehicle for wellness, right? And it's self-defense, not self-offense. And I think we've gotten now with this competitive stuff too, it's like it's more self-offense, right? It's me imposing my will on this person. And I don't think that's jiu-jitsu, is it?
Yeah, no.
Like in the essence of jiu-jitsu.
That's more of what I would like define wrestling as.
Right. I think so too.
Imposing my will on another person.
Well, and it was interesting because we were talking about like the Hickson on Joe Rogan thing a little bit, and they touched on some of that a little bit too, about how when wrestlers came over and started winning the points tournaments or whatever, how it changed the way, you know, people were playing the game because they knew how to just be big and strong and hold guys down and win on points and things like that. So then you had to start matching, you know, strength and athleticism with strength and athleticism. And then we're gaming the game, you know, and then control. And so the interesting thing was like, and I agree fully with this point of it all too. You're learning control. You're not learning how to just smash things up and rip submissions in for real, like martial arts. That's not really what you're doing.
The point.
Yeah, the competition stuff though is in the entertainment side of it is what's pushing people. Like how we're talking about with the PGF stuff, those 6-minute matches. It's exciting. It's fun.
And you're thinking about the choke. I mean,
but there's no like, you don't slow down and you don't get to cook the guy.
Yeah. And
you don't have that mental like, oh, you're not going anywhere. Like everything you do now, you're just going to slowly get sucked into this pit. And then now I'm safe and you die. Right. It's not just like this scramble of athleticism which is exciting to see. And I love it. I love athleticism. You know what I mean? And we all do. That's why we like watching Olympic wrestling and stuff too, because these are the best like athletics wrestling guys in the world doing it, you know? So I don't know. It's just, I want the jiu-jitsu to be, I think, what my interpretation of jiu-jitsu for everybody is. If you want to be the hard-nosed competitor, I got you. If you just want to come in after work, hang out with the bros and be part of the team and pick up some techniques, and you don't really want to have to go hard, then fine. Just know that you're not going to have that element there when you ever need it, probably. If you ever really need that, you won't have it. And so I'll be honest with you about that. That's what I'm saying right now. I'll say that in class. It's like, if you don't go hard, sometimes you won't know. But sometimes you're not ready to go hard, then you should have the right to not. If you're hurt, the default shouldn't be, oh, I don't want everybody to think I'm a insert put down about a woman talking about a man, you know, and you're physically actually really hurt and worn down and beat up, but you don't want to
be a punk.
Yeah. Right.
Or feel like one anyway.
Or you don't want other people to think you are one.
Yeah.
Right. It's not that you know you're hurt, but if the base level was understanding, most of the time you could come to me honestly and be like, hey coach, my back is really messed up today. I just need to chill. And I trust you that you're not being a expletive, that you're a real human. And hey, my back hurts too. Sometimes I would like to chill, but I like to hang out with my teammates. Right. I want to be in the room and talk and laugh and play and stuff like that a little bit, but I can't physically take the toll today, you know, but some people say, oh, suck it up. You got to just go harder. And it's like, well, then you're destroying this person. You're breaking them physically and mentally now.
How do you teach the balance though? Yeah. How do you teach the balance of like the guy that's like taking too many off? Cause you're like, man, like this is a hard thing we do. Like we're trying to hurt each other. There are going to be days that you're going to be sore, but then there's times that you're hurt and then there's times that you're injured. Like how do you teach them the difference?
Depends on what their goals are.
Okay.
Individual goals. That's why you got to know your people. That's why you got to be on the level with your people. That's why you got to trust me and I got to trust you that you're telling me the truth. Right. Don't bullshit me about stuff. Tell me the truth. I trust you. Right. And if it's too much, it's too much. You've seen me. I tell you all the time too. You don't listen. So I just let you keep fucking yourself up. Like one day the lesson will learn itself, I guess, or not. And then I did my job.
I know what
you don't
risking. No, like it's like the amount of time that
You're not old enough yet though.
I get that. Like I get I'm learning those lessons. Is what I'm saying.
You sound just like I did.
Okay.
Learning it is one thing.
Understanding it.
That's what I'm saying.
Actualization.
I was trying to tee you up there. I was trying to tee you up there. I was trying to give it to you.
Sorry. That's why we got Pete here. But that's the thing, right? And so like if you're really hurt, go sit down. If you're really hurt, go sit down. If you want to be in the room, you can still be here. Okay, do the light stuff, and then when it's time to go live, oh hey, my rib. Oh yeah, go sit down, man. Don't be stupid. Right?
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself. Yeah. Just because everybody else is going hard today. Yeah. Right.
We know not every coach is like you though. Like
I know that
we've been in the room where
that's
you have
what I'm saying.
To like suck it the fuck out.
With that, but you know, like I understood what I was in the room for then too.
But even you know, like it exists even when you're not in that room.
And so there'll be competition training.
Sure.
And I'll tell you to go sit down.
Sure.
Don't come in here. The rule is don't start if you're not going to finish.
Yeah.
Right. That's the rule.
Yeah.
I don't care if you slow down.
Yeah.
Don't stop. That's that rule. But if if you're in the room that day for competition training and maybe you're hurt or whatever, cool. Don't start.
What's your thoughts about training around an injury? Like is there a way to get there?
Yeah, there's an element to that. That's what I'm saying. You can train around
if you learn yourself.
But at the same time, then I think a lot of times that's how you'll start seeing people develop these overall imbalances in their body.
Or bad mechanics.
Bad mechanics.
Just because they've been practicing in a weird state.
Because they've been compensating.
Yeah. That's why I jiu-jitsu my right leg issue for so long now that it's messed up my hip pretty much. And I just didn't ever talk about it. And that's why it's funny to me. Like people will tell me like, oh man, I'm so hurt or whatever. And I'm just like in excruciating pain every day. I just don't talk about it. Why? Why would I just keep talking about it? Because that's just going to make me be aware of how bad it hurts. So I do everything I can in the middle of the day. I stretch, I roll, I take hot baths, I ice myself, I go get massages. As a jet.
I was going to say.
Sorry, everybody. It was nice knowing you guys.
This is how we go out. They hit
started.
Us. They happen. It happened.
Yeah, but like I do the best I can now to start trying to take care of myself and make myself feel better. I take days off now. There's days in there people ask me to roll, and I see they're disappointed because they want me to roll or they want me to train, but it's like, man, my back hurts, dude. Or I've already been in the gym for 4 hours today. Right. This would be the 5th time I would have trained. So I don't really have, and so like I understand that about myself. So I try to give that grace to everybody else. These guys, most of them have a real job. Most of them are doing something else all day. They're not like college kids. These guys are like family men or women, and they're coming in after a long day. They're not coming in to be drilled down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They don't get to go prop their feet up in those little squishy things that you wear and like do all that stuff.
They could choose to do that though, right? But they choose to come be with us.
But that's more time that they have to take away from their family just to recover from their hobby they're doing.
Right, exactly. And then that's when the wife starts getting upset because now you're taking time off from work because you're hurt from doing this jiu-jitsu stuff, And it's not wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's not wrong.
No.
In my mind, I'm thinking about those competition classes in San Diego. Bro, I've ran off the mat and like thrown up and basically had an anxiety attack during some of those classes because it's so hard.
Fuck yeah.
So I get it. No, do you want to be me? Are you sure?
Go drown for a little while.
There's levels, right?
Yeah.
And so we're dipping our toes in the waters of things, and I'm giving you jiu-jitsu for life. I'm not giving you the jiu-jitsu the way it was given to me. Like I came up as a warrior. I chose that path though. I chose to walk that way. And that's why I'm hurt now.
Yep.
That's why I carry the stiffness and soreness a lot of times. So if I want you to train forever, then I should prioritize your health.
For sure.
Not your hardness. Not being tougher.
Yep.
Right? Smarter, not harder. I think it's the thing. If you get a new tool, why wouldn't you use it? You know what I mean? If somebody gives you hydraulics, why would you keep using a rope and pulley?
Yeah. Yeah. Like in my own situation, I've had this issue where I've like been overtrained,
probably right now.
And not like pulling back enough, but I had a very like light bulb moment, just before COVID hit, before the pandemic, about really wanting longevity out of my journey now. If jiu-jitsu does all the great things that I say it does, if it provides my life with so much benefit, whether it's like mentally, medically, whatever, then why am I pushing the gas till the engine blows up?
Right.
Because that's like antithetical, obviously, to what I'm telling everybody. This has so many benefits. It's helping me physically and all this stuff. And then you just pop the engine and you're like 45 years old with no way to be physically healthy again.
And you can't sit there with your stuff either and be comfortable.
So I just like
you don't know how to sit still and be comfortable.
For sure.
Now you can't sit still and be comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that moment kind of like freaked me out a little bit to think like, what if this was all taken away from me, and I didn't have the ability to do this anymore, so longevity is like seriously been on my mind, at least for the last 18 months here, just thinking about ways I can prolong everything. And that means doing things outside of jiu-jitsu, like going for massages, getting treatments, taking your vitamin, like Hulk Hogan style,
trying to be straight.
Say your prayers to take your vitamins, but
get some blood work done.
But yeah, I mean, like these are all important things if you want longevity out of your
jiu-jitsu experience. All jokes aside, though, like seriously,
what's some of y'all's longevity routines? Like, what are like? I know I've got a deep tissue routine that I run every week with somebody.
I like to get to the gym early and stretch for like half an hour. Like I like to make sure my lower half has gotten some blood circulation and my heart's beating a little bit, not overexerting, because there's obviously like a warm-up element to what we do. But I just want to be loose. Being loose is huge for me, but also the massages and the ice baths and stuff like taking cold showers. Those things are supremely important for, just keeping your body, for keeping my body in check.
Yeah, if I'm doing a good job, like if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm drinking a lot of water every day. I'm trying to eat better. I'm getting to the gym faster
lately.
I'm getting to the gym about 30 minutes early, and I'm able to warm up a little bit before I start doing class and stretch and go through some mobility stuff. Now, like actually, I started that athletic truth group, the Knees Over Toes guys program.
Yeah, okay.
I heard 12 some people talking about that.
Like, if you just look at the workouts that or the things that they're doing online, I think some people were doing that and just jumping into it when trying to copy some of the workouts they saw online. But I don't think that's, like, obviously I know now that's not really the program, right? So there's the first 12 weeks are no equipment until you can do all that stuff pain free, and they coach you, like you get like online video myself and send it in, and they tell me this, and if it hurts, then you got to stop right there, like you don't go any further. Right. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm trying to like, and again, one of the things that we were talking about is like at the PGF, I guess I kind of talked about it as I was stepping away from that about my my right leg and the knee and the lack of mobility I get in that. I want to get better at doing stuff with that. And so really the only way to do it is to go back in now and start trying to like break all that stuff apart and struggle through rehabbing my knee better appropriately and trying to get strong again with it, because I've been hiding behind that, man, I'm just older now and this thing. And so now I'm trying my best now as the idea of the longevity. And same thing as you. I want to keep going, man. I don't want to have to stop. I love it. Yeah. And like last year, dude, it was so scary that it might be taken away. Yeah. And then prior to getting my job at the gym in San Diego, that was one of those big existential crises that I was going through too. You were there for, like, that's the thing. Like, I thought it was all going to be taken away then, because I was going to have to go out into the real world and get a real job and work. And like the thing I talk about with everybody else, where I wouldn't be able to be there the way I want to be there. So that's why I try to treat it the way I do, because that's how I value it. I need it. Yeah, like, I don't just want it. I need it. I need to be there. I need to be somewhere doing it. Yeah. At least I'll take some days off, but after a couple of days, I at least need to just be there. You know,
day 3, I'm looking for somewhere.
I just got to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why our school kind of is the way it is too, because we started in the middle of that. We started in the middle of everybody kind of looking for the community as much as anything else.
Right.
I don't think that everybody was looking for a Naga sword when they started with us last year.
Right.
I think quite a few of them didn't even probably know what a Naga sword was.
We didn't even talk about it. We didn't even talk about competition stuff. We only talked about jiu-jitsu and how to be cool with each other and how to treat your teammates. And how
there were no competitions at that time.
That's what I'm saying. That's why there was no I didn't know if we were ever going to get to do them again, or like it was really like a scary time. Like, maybe this is as big as it's going to get. These 13 people that the fire marshal said we could have as we started, maybe that's as big as we'll ever be able to be here, And so then as it's grown, like I really, like, it's not a joke. I appreciate everyone that comes and wants to learn. I appreciate that. Like, cause I get to live my version of my dream, the best I can every day. And if I didn't get to do this, I would not be as happy. I know that. I would be happy because I would force myself to be happy somehow, but I know I wouldn't be as happy.
Fulfilled.
I wouldn't feel, so I need the people to be there. I need my students to be there. So how can I do everything that I want to do? Right. It's a business. So I need to make money. Right. So we have dues, but if everybody's getting hurt, miserable when they come in, they don't want to stay and train. They don't like my attitude because I'm all right. I'm all like gruff with everybody, or aggressive, or super lame, just like lame with people or whatever. Don't have a good attitude towards people sometimes, or what, they're going to not show up. And then that's not I'm not going to be able to support myself with my hobby.
Kiss your dream goodbye.
Right. And so sometimes you got to eat a little bit of shit, even if you're a black belt, even if you're whatever you are. Sometimes you just got to eat it sometimes. Just
I would
for the
think
sake
the bigger
of it.
the shit sandwiches get bigger when you're a black belt.
There's a lot, dude. There's a lot. I get messages about stuff from other people about other people sometimes.
Sure.
And like, I got to play like fixer.
Yeah.
Or I got to go address things quickly because like we talked about with situations, I just want to go out and get in front of stuff. I don't want to be talking. If there's a problem with Pete, I don't really want to keep going to Isaac about it. Because Isaac's just going to start thinking bad things about me too, and probably about you, because we're both going to be talking trash to Isaac about each other. And when I could really probably just go directly to Pete and be like, hey, I don't like this thing. And you can be like, well, I did that because of this and this. Then we start getting to what the reasoning is and the why, instead of now it's months later, and then everybody's, and you're like, last year you stepped on my foot or whatever, and then you just kind of laughed at me, and I really think you should have apologized. And it's like, what?
That was one of my biggest adult lessons, was like probably in the last like 2 or 3 years, has been like when people come to me to tell me something that they dislike that somebody else does. I'm like, have you talked to them about it?
Did you speak to that person?
They're like, no. Okay. You should probably do that.
Yeah. That'd be the first step. First step is talking to them. And I think you got to empower people to have a voice then. Right.
I think some people feel like that they're going to like lose the friend or whatever. Yeah.
And so beating you up every day doesn't always give you the ability to feel like you can use your voice.
Sometimes I think some people look at the room as like a rank and file as well. And there's like a
pecking order.
They feel like there's a weird military thing to it. And I've never, ever felt that way. I felt that way at white belt though. But once you kind of progress, I think if you do have a problem, no matter what rank, I think, you as a teammate, you should be able to sort these things out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me and Authority have never really had issues.
But I mean, like,
don't look over there while the black belts are
it's
drilling.
It's a weird thing about jiu-jitsu is that there's ranks, but I feel like we can all, like, I've never had a teammate where I didn't think I could talk to them about an issue that I had, regardless of where their rank is,
No, for sure. I think that's like in life, that's a problem people have. They're afraid to talk to someone that they perceive as more than them. Exactly. And they're just another person, dude.
Like that person's the assistant manager. I don't want to fucking
I don't want to talk to the balls. It's like, no, that's who you need to talk to.
That's the dude that can get stuff
done. One, right? Go, you know what I mean? If you've already talked to him and you've already talked to them, then that's who you need to talk to. You know what I mean? If that's causing you trouble, then that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? Sure. If it's a ground floor problem, then we'll fix it down there. If the problem's coming from the top, then hey, let's go knock on his door. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like I've been that way for a while, and sometimes it's been detrimental to me. And I think sometimes people didn't understand that that's what I was always doing too. Is like I try to be as honest as I can, and I try to do the things the way that I say I will. Right. I try to stand up for people to say it the way I say I will. I try to like be honest. Like if I've said something, then I'll say it again. In front of you, or, if I have a problem or a complaint, I try to address it in front of someone. I'll even openly talk about it in front of people. And if I'm wrong, okay, make me be wrong. Like not beat me up, but explain to me how I'm wrong. Right. And it's not always might makes right. And that's another thing I see a lot of times in the training rooms with people. It's like, oh, well, just green light them and show them or whatever. It's like, no, sit down and explain to them what they did wrong. Sure. Sit down and say, hey, you can literally be like, hey, dude, you're going too rough. But people don't want to do that. They'd rather just beat you up.
Right.
But you didn't even give them a chance to say, hey, man, chill out a little bit. You don't have to go that hard.
Right.
Maybe if you did
that.
But
if they blow right through that warning, is that still something that's part of the culture? Or do you think it's something
there's a degree of that you're going to have to get to. Yeah. If the person keeps showing up, then somebody's got to check them. But I think top down, then it falls on me if it's my room.
Yeah.
If somebody's being a spaz, and if like you spazzed on Pete and Pete told you and you kept doing, then Pete could just stop rolling with you. He has the right to stop mid roll and be like, hey, no, you are gonna hurt me. Like, this is not what we're doing. Like, I'm gonna mess you. Like, I don't want to have to fight you. Like, you know what I mean?
I've been in this specific position more than once, and I've done the thing that you're talking about. But I also give the guy leeway, because especially if you're a lower ranking guy and you're brand new to the gym, and like, especially this has happened, you know, in SD, because we throw white belts right into the fire there. Like, they get the same treatment as everybody, right? That's just how it is at our gym. But you know, I've had to warn guys, like, hey, like, you're taking this a little too far. Like we don't need all this aggression. We can do the same thing and be competitive still, and you can dial the number back just a little bit. But how do you tell a white belt not to have that feeling in their head that they're getting killed?
They're gonna die.
You know, and that's why I give them so much leeway, especially in those situations where you're new and fresh. Because even if I talk to you, there's no way that you shut that thing down in your brain or your body that's telling you, hey, you're about to die. You should probably spaz the fuck out. So, you know, there's been times where I've had to tell people more than once, and then by the time the third time comes around, it's like, hey man, you know, I really appreciate you rolling with me, but like I can't do this, and I don't want to risk it. I don't want to hurt you. You don't want to hurt me.
There's no reason to do that.
Yeah,
there's no reason to. Like, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
But you have to be the person though. Sometimes that's just like, you know what, man? Like, appreciated. You know,
you have to let them be wrong and just walk away, and they can talk shit about you and call you whatever that word is that people want to refer as people. You know, that's like, cool. Yep, if you think so. But like, I know what I'll do.
I've gotten to where, like, if they're not a complete mutant, I go and hide somewhere. I know that they don't know something. So like, I'll go to mount. I'll let them have mount, or I'll let them have my back. Now, I've had that backfire on me, and it turns out that they're a complete, you know, superhuman, and they're now like I got Jamie. A superhuman on top of me. Yeah, that's maybe a specific example that was flashing in my head. And I tried not to run out of the room.
Like,
just tap to them. Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I've had guys come in and catch me because I'm trying to be chill, and they're all aggro and stuff. And it's like, all right, well, you don't get any more now. Like, it's not that I'm going to beat you up. I may not tap you out either.
But now we're not playing.
Now we're not playing. Yeah. Nobody's going to get anything now. I'm just going to shut down. Yeah. And then when it's over, I'll tell you. You know what I mean? And then I'll explain it, you know. Or not, maybe. I just won't mess with you anymore. You just won't get
Thanks for the roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just won't get another one.
Yeah.
You know. But if they're my student, I'm going to talk to them.
Because you're trying to teach and lead the way.
That's my job.
Yeah.
That's my job. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. Is create a bunch of those people. The whole room is that person. The whole room has the authority to check you because it's clear what we're doing.
I like that.
And it's not the way to just wreck somebody for, you know, and if you have someone outclassed, you know that.
You don't have to prove it. Yeah.
Pull back. It's not an MMA fight. There's no danger here. Nobody's going to get a concussion here except for maybe one of us now because you're being an idiot. Right. It's just a training room. It's the training room. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Now, I guess this is a segue into some of the other stuff that we've seen. Gianni Grippo at the Emerald City this last weekend.
Yeah.
Ripped the inside heel hook on the guy, and everybody's like all up in arms about it. And like, you know, talking trash on him and like saying he's, you know, should have gave the guy a chance, or he didn't give him a chance. A chance for what?
Yeah.
What's the point?
There's nowhere
So,
gonna,
Yeah.
That was the move.
If he gives him a chance, it's a chance for him to lose.
It's over.
Yeah.
He may give away the only shot he had to finish, perhaps. And like, that's $10,000. I don't know if you've ever, I don't know how many people that are saying that everybody just has extra $10,000 in their bank. You know, they're just chilling with. Then okay, maybe you would just let it go, right? But someone that's fighting for their living and this is how they earn their dollars, he's got to get it. You know, if he don't get it, then maybe he can't pay his rent for a couple months this year.
Yeah.
Maybe he, you know, I think Gianni's from New York. I'm sure earning money as a jiu-jitsu guy this last year has been tough for them.
Big time.
So 10,000, that's not a small amount of money. And it's a professional event. And like all these same people will go out here and watch a UFC fight and watch somebody get head kicked and then hammer fist 3 times and jump up and yell about it and be excited
and be like, yay.
Yeah, get that brain trauma, boy.
Yeah.
You know, oh, he should have gave him a second to tap.
But break his leg. Break his leg.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
you're a monster.
Right. So,
but then you get the comments of, but that's MMA. That's not jiu-jitsu. We're the gentle art.
No, that's this. See, this is what I said again.
I'm like,
no. That's entertainment business there. No. That's competition.
Yeah.
That's competition. That's not the real thing. And it's a martial art. So the gentle art is jujitsu, whatever the yielding art. So what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna yield you right into your death. Right. I'm gonna use your aggression to kill you, to get to your neck and choke you.
Or your laziness in that
it's not gentle. Like I'm trying to break your arm. If you don't tap, I'm gonna break it. And I assume when we're in a real situation, you don't get to tap.
Yeah.
So I'm working like that's the thing. I'm gonna break it.
Yeah.
You gotta break it. But we're just doing a game. It's just a sport.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then nerf it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nerf it and take it out of the game. Well then that's boring and you're taking away from the martial art. Well then shut up and let it be a martial art then. You know
so is that your take on what got posted in Brandon's group today about you're hiding behind a rule set if you're upset about something in this
it's always been the case.
Yeah.
It's always the case. That's why they changed the rules for all these different Olympic sports and stuff like that too, to make it safer. They nerfed this. You can't do a double leg in judo. You can't do that. You can't choke somebody in wrestling. Why can't I choke you and then pin you?
Good point.
Right? Potentially dangerous. Why can't I break your shoulder and then pin you? Because you don't want to like break your shoulder off. Well, if I don't wrench on this hammer lock, he's not going to let me win this match. And he may break my arm somehow in the next scramble. So I'm going to use this, weapon to get the result I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Taekwondo. Really cool, but there's all those pads. And
what happened with that? Was it like 2 weeks ago where a guy got knocked out?
It was actually just more recent than that, but I think it was like the karate event.
That's what it was. It was karate,
and he head kicked the guy, knocked him out, and he got disqualified.
The Olympic kumite
for throwing
thing or
a
whatever.
Dangerous kick.
Yeah, that thing. Right, he threw it too hard.
They said it was they said it was dangerous or it was too hard or whatever.
Yeah, is this not going to kick us off? Is it?
I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it over the thing.
Okay, but yeah, he's like just piecing this cat up a little bit and then kicks him in the head and knocks him out.
So this is the guy from I saw the.
And what sucked so much for this guy is I think he was about to win the first medal for his country.
That's what I read.
Yeah,
and apparently it was like so one-sided, and he caught that knockout. And then they caught him on a technicality.
Speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I got you. Timeline.
Yeah, we don't want to watch 5 minutes of this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, get closer to the end. He's piecing them up though for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's Saudi Arabian.
And see, they got these like shin guards and stuff on too, right?
I don't think shin guards protect anything except for the attacker.
It takes some of that off for sure. Boom! See, that's just a good front leg,
shin to the face.
That was beautiful.
Knocked him clean out, and gets
Knocked
disqualified.
So was it like instantaneous that they disqualified him, or was it like afterwards? Right there, they disqualified him.
Yep,
that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Wow. Dude just bowed and took it like a G.
What are you gonna do, right? That's what they tell you.
I would have head kicked the referee. That's what I would.
It's not, and like you don't want to show out in front of everybody or whatever, maybe on stage and everything like that. But then that's dumb. That's just dumb. Yeah, so
doesn't make any sense.
I think it makes
so you hide behind the rule set right there.
Right.
I think it makes the rule set look worse.
It's not really
in that situation.
It's just a game of touch
because he followed the rules.
It's just a game of touch.
Right.
But that's what I was trying to say about Taekwondo. So. Like if you did real Taekwondo back in the day, you were learning like the Korean martial art is learning how to like really mess people up. Right. But now it's been watered down or whatever and made, into that soft sport art. And that's what happened with jiu-jitsu a lot in the IBJJF style in a lot of years, where it went towards just looking for those easy plays and advantages and stuff. And that's the thing, is like, what are you doing with like it? Is it competition? Are you wanting to be the best at competition jiu-jitsu, or are you wanting to be the best at jiu-jitsu
in general?
Right. That's
like, what is the best at jiu-jitsu in general? What does that mean?
That's the problem I have, I guess, that I am butting up against with my philosophy, is like, will this lead to the best competitors? I don't know that, but it's going to lead, so far it's led me to several really solid foundational people.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I can double that, then what happens? And if I can double that, then the competitors are going to show up, and then they'll see this way as the way. And then we'll get the accessory style hardcore training in for that kind of stuff. And then you'll have the built-in like reps train, like a basketball or whatever. They go to the run throughs or whatever. They go through it softly and practice their shots. And you know what I mean? They're not constantly banging. Like in football, they have the no pads days. They run through it a lot of times. They're not at the highest level. They're not doing full contact all the time because they're saving their bodies for the competitions. So you save your body more longevity. You turn it up a couple of days. You turn it off. You go through the motions. You keep your mind sharp. You keep your body moving. The wheels are greased, right? But you're not like redlining the engine every day, kind of like we're talking about. So it just boils down to what your goals are. And so I try to meet the students' goals. What is their goal? I try to get down to what do you want from this? Is it the community? Cool. Well, I'm not really going to badger you about your technique that much more than, you're doing the best you can, and I'm going to give you more advice and keep you moving along and progressing and stuff like that. But I'm not going to really like push you hard technically unless you ask to.
Right.
And then I'll push you on technique. But if you express that you want to be an athlete or a fighter, or if people tell me they want to do MMA, like I just try to start talking them out of it almost, if you want to stay here, because it's going to be hard to have a full MMA career in our gym because we don't have kickboxing,
right?
Boxing, we don't have we don't have MMA classes.
Right. The bodies.
Yeah, it's just not the vibe. It's not the room that we have. So if you want MMA, you're going to have to go somewhere else, at least also. Maybe
but
not fully.
But isn't that pretty common in MMA? I mean,
it is. Yes. It is.
But it's very hard to find a full camp somewhere.
But if you have a job,
yeah,
and then you're trying to do this, and then you're trying to be an MMA fighter,
it's not easy.
It's just not going to be easy, and then you got to go to 2 or 3 gyms. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like, so do you want to do it? I'll tell you how. I'll tell you what I think you got to do. And even to the point that it's like, hey, you're probably going to have to not be my student full time if you want this. Like, but if it's what you want, I'll tell you, I'll point you to the right direction even, but I don't have it. So if I don't meet your goals, then I'm not the coach for you. You know what I mean? And then being comfortable saying that. And so if all you are is a competition team type school, then just say that when people come in. Don't be preaching jiu-jitsu for everybody. Don't be talking about community as much like that for inclusivity. It's only for athletes. We're looking for the top athletes. We're trying to develop the top athletes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's a hard business model.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's a hard business.
It depends on where you're at in the world.
Oh, good point. Like where you're pulling from.
Where we are, it's hard.
Yeah,
for sure. Because we don't have a bunch of high level athletes just coming out and staying here.
Right.
Well, and the mediocre athletes it takes to support the high level athletes to have the bodies, those guys are sometimes not the best paying patrons.
Sometimes too, right?
Like when you're talking about an MMA gym, if you're talking about that culture.
We're talking about MMA for sure. Yeah, nobody in MMA has money.
Sign up with your extra 10K.
2 spots.
They were talking about Jamie picked Morgan up over his head last night, and it was probably the most terrifying thing I've seen. Bro, he was trying to wrestle him.
See, that's the stuff right there.
That's the mutants I'm talking about.
He showed up after I left almost basically. Morgan, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that, Morgan. Come on, man. See, I told him better. I told him not to do that. And then he just don't. They just want to do it. So you're just going to do it then.
They have this gentle giant that they get to play with, and they think that
it's fun because he's nice. But it also hurts really bad if he's not nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but just don't hurt yourself. That's the biggest thing. Don't hurt yourself. Don't take away from something else just to come be getting ran through the ringer again. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Find out, like, if that's what you want, then go.
I was gonna say, some guys are looking for the ringer.
And that's the thing. We'll have some of that, but it's not going to be the default mode.
Not every day.
Yeah, we're not the military, right? You're not going to come in and stand in formation and, like, you know, be at attention for whatever amount of time, you know.
I was wondering why I was standing by myself off, trying to get in line.
Weird ass. It's just, I don't know. That's part of the normal culture. And I get that that's the way people can set up, like, the class system, to get ranks and hierarchy and different things like that. But for me, I think the hierarchy develops itself in the room.
For sure.
I think that the hierarchy, it can be skill-based, but I think it's also, like, the vibe. Like, I don't care if you're a black belt or a blue belt. Like, if you're cool, I would rather train with you. If you're not cool to me, if you don't make me feel comfortable and happy, and like if we don't get along well, if we don't vibe, if your style doesn't fit me when we're drilling, then I don't want to drill with you. Yeah. I don't want to be your partner. I don't care if you're a black belt or not. And that was one of the things that kind of hurt my feelings in San Diego one time. Big Ed?
Yes.
I kept picking him to be my partner for a couple of weeks. And I was like, to myself, I was like, oh man, this is great for Ed. He's just getting to work with me and, like, all this stuff. Meanwhile, I'm just, like, on the other side of it. They're like, dude, you're fucking wrecking him, like, every class or whatever. And I'm just thinking, no, man, he's getting, like, a one-on-one with what the black belts. But I am, though, just, like, going, like, fast. Like, let's work. But he came in after work. It's a hobby for him. He didn't want to come in and always every day have to go hard. So the first time he didn't want to be my partner, I was mad. I was like, I don't think he likes me anymore. They're like, no, dude, he probably just wanted to chill a little bit. And I was like, but why? Why would you come here to chill? Right. In my mind, that's what I'm saying. It's like I wasn't on the other side of that mentality yet. Yeah. I was just like, no. We gotta. The only thing you come in here is just live work, because that's the way I did it there. Because it wasn't my room to control it, and the vibe of the room was hard work. The vibe of the room was to get in there and get after it every day. Yep. And, like, it's a competition room every day. You know what I mean? That's a room for competitors. Yeah. And some people aren't competitors and they get to stay in there and they make it. But most of the people in there are pretty hard nosed. They may not be elite level competitors yet, but there's a ton of up and coming people always at ranks. And, like, now even there's people that are coming up that I don't recognize in the pictures of some of the stuff already. And I've only been going a couple of years. So a couple of hard years of really dedicated work is going to get you really, really far. For sure. Now, these are people who are working gig jobs or odd labor stuff, and they're fixing their entire life around this jiu-jitsu schedule. So if you're not willing to do that, then don't try to compare yourself to the progress that those people are making being in a place like that.
For sure.
Right. And so that's the thing. I was lucky and had Mandy, who was making the money and doing all this other stuff for me, for us. And so I could dedicate 100% of my energy almost to training and stuff, minus being a good husband and father. I was only worried about being in there training. I didn't do anything else. Right. But that's what I say. If I had to work 40 hours a week, then I would also have to go home and spend time with my family. So then there wouldn't be as much time for the jiu-jitsu stuff. So I wouldn't want to go in there every day and have to go hard. I would want to just go hang out some. And I don't know that I would have made it to what my goals were had I had to slow down and sit there in that room. So in that room, you gotta have a certain kind of, like, readiness about you. You know what I mean? So if you go to San Diego, guys, you're gonna get murked. Right,
especially on a Monday,
over and over and over.
What was it? Monday and a Friday.
On a Monday and a Friday, and a Sunday in Oceanside. Like, you can guarantee that you're probably going to be bleeding, or
it's real. They're going to try to get you. They're trying to win. They're trying to get you. So yeah, and I mean, but that's the way it is, and it's dog eat dog. And if you're ready for it, then good. And if you're not ready for it, it might chew you up, and you may not make it to the other side. You know,
Wu-Tang Friday.
Wu-Tang Fridays.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We're gonna start doing that here too. I think.
Sick.
Mondays and Friday nights at 6:30 are gonna just be live drills on Mondays, live rolls on Fridays.
3-minute rounds, no
short
rest.
rounds, no
3-minute rounds. Ooh,
no breaks.
And and everybody's just going. It's just as intense as live drill Mondays because you only have that short window to sub your opponent.
3 minutes is a very fast time.
Oh, dude! But you're like halfway through the training session, everybody's dying. You know, so those 3 minutes turn into what seems like 15 real quick.
Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Love y'all. Much love.
My last podcast. See you guys next time around.
Yeah, much love to Peter. We're sending them back to the Great White North. Musgrove Trial Firm, Wilkes Bookkeeping and Accounting Services, Parkway Automotive Studios, Peach Podcast Syndicate, Turnkey Connections, Matt Viper, Sheath Underwear, The Dream No-Gi Camp, and you.
Mid-South saves 20 on that underwear.
Yeah, and thank you, people.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Took me a little bit longer on this one, man. A little more lyrical, you know what I'm saying? The beat thumps too. So, all right. Yo, my introduction is this. I ain't got no fucking money, so production is shit. Yeah. Think I'm joking, come and see how I live with my garage band flow and them shitty Apple headphones. All these rappers out here rich and buying Borgiatos. I'm so broke I really can't afford to buy gelato. Nope. I just need a one-hit wonder, no more arigato. My only hope and dream is that I one day win the lotto. But I know money isn't everything, so let me switch it up. Had to say a couple things. Cause I've been trying to make it through the day, so stay the fuck up out my way unless you trying to get slayed like Liu Kang. Insane, no cocaine, my membrane is okay. Combat is mortal, just jump through the portal to other dimensions. And goddamn, your girlfriend's impressive. Your boyfriend's chest I was compressing. So, listen when I say this shit. Got me thinking, damn, is this as real as the kids? I don't know. You stop the fuck up. Hey, y'all, chill out. I'm trying to rap over here. I mean, damn, come on now. Applying pressure, the heaviest of chest compressors, the iron jester, best above the rest.